Good morning, and continuing to talk about psychometric science. Having defined psychometric science, and then four kinds of hierarchies, and then four kinds of social roles in relation to hierarchies, I'm going to then talk about each of the four Myers-Briggs quadrants in terms of their tendencies as far as fulfilling a role relative to hierarchies. Number one, NTs, intuitive thinkers, those who prefer to see the world in terms of the abstract concepts related to things and ideas. INTPs, INTJs, ENTPs, and ENTJs. They share three self-concept words which are intimately connected to um, the points I'm going to make. So, according to Kiersey, and I find these stable words that make sense across time, NTs feel better about themselves when they see themselves and feel that others see them as being autonomous, ingenious, and resolute. So, that means that when an NT looks at the social phenomenon of hierarchy, their intuition analyzes it. Because of weak sensing, and I believe it's through sensing that somebody naturally has a relationship to hierarchy in its most traditional sense, we look at it and we begin to analyze it. It is being ingenious, it is intuition scanning it for meaning. And I think automatically we are people that, whether we know the terms or not, are thinking, is this cretological? Is this ergonomic? Is this based on a purpose? Analyzing in that sense. And because of resolve, we do not automatically see ourselves as being inside of it. We are seeing ourselves as to the outside, analyzing it. I think that therefore, the majority, if not the totality of intuitive thinkers, when faced with hierarchy, see ourselves naturally in more sigma terms. Specifically, individualistic, selective about who we associate with and ideas that we take on. People that sidestep rules when we do not see a need for a direct confrontation because it's not related to our goals, step out of the situation. Don't need to engage every single conflict. Now I know that there are NTs that feel differently, but let's say in the case of a hierarchy, one of my closest friends who I shared these psychometric ideas with a couple days ago before I made these videos is in a paramilitary type of hierarchy where he knows that the way to resolve it in other situations would be to punch somebody. And he's like, man, what am I supposed to do? They keep doing things like, that in other situations would lead to like people like fist fighting. And I can't because I'll lose my place in the hierarchy. Um, And so he is, despite being excellent in verbal debate, understanding that to achieve his goals, he's got to sidestep these conflicts, even if it kind of hurts inside, because the bigger goal is more important than the smaller goal, more important than, even if in the moment it feels like they're making him as beta and small as possible. Sigmas are wary of self-justifying hierarchies. Capable of leadership, often the subject of others' attempt to put under alpha, to make beta. Intis and sigmas are capable of leadership. There is not a burning desire to put oneself in that position um, because there's a separate set of goals and desires, both for NTs and sigmas, that flow alongside, the all-important idea of hierarchies. If one is to be an alpha, one must be willing to take every conflict that comes your way on the topic of where your space is in a hierarchy. Most NTs understand that only a small portion of life's conflicts directly relate to your own goals, and that we have a limited amount of time and years upon this earth that we might as well focus on accomplishing things we want to accomplish, and that will lead to occasionally appearing weaker than we are because of being unwilling to take every conflict put our way. Because let's say you got your way and became the top of a hierarchy. That's now a job. A part-time job is to make sure everyone knows you're in charge. I was self-employed for several years and I had 10 employees. I loved training them and I loved mentoring them and I loved hiring them and I loved all that stuff. I had a set of purpose-built rules that had to do with just accomplishing the goals of the company. And the thing that hurt and annoyed me most was people that wanted to test me on those rules and make sure I was willing to put the smack down. And it disappointed me. It brought sorrow to my soul that I would need to remind adults of basic rules that they said they understood. I believe that a true alpha feels like that's the real calling. That person screwed up those rules. I need to step in and step on them. I'm an INTJ, and I love leadership, and I love inspiration, and I love training, and I love this thing we're doing right here. But the aspect of being a leader, the aspect of being an alpha, and I'm absolutely Sigma person, by the way, that involves taking time out of every day to fight somebody to prove that you're in charge, and involves taking time out of your day to smack people around for breaking rules. This wearies me. Somebody else can have it. I find it a waste of time, a waste of energy, deleterious to interpersonal relationships. And I think that most NTs feel that way. Where you have NTs in leadership, you have people that are often way more interested in hearing your perspective so they can improve what they're doing. Then you have people who are the most traditional alpha, has to be right, has to be the one that my idea got put forth, or at least I'm the mouthpiece of the idea, and loves to be the one to reinforce rules in other people. You will not find many NTs that love to reinforce mindless rules on people. You will not find many NTs that like to be the one that's always speaking and never hearing what anyone else has to say. There we go. That is NT's tendency to be sigmas in relation to hierarchy, capable of being alphas, but when we are, it's a very different kind of alpha. Okay. If I have blessed you or encouraged you, please like and subscribe. Thank you.